Ooh, hoo, hoo. I want to talk with you today about blue guns. What the heck is a blue gun? Is it a gun that's blue? Blue guns are like Kleenex or Q-tips. It's a brand name for a company in Florida called Blueguns that makes these inert training tools. Do you need one? Let's dig right into it. So this happens to be an analog to a Glock 43X. My daily carry is a Glock 43X and a Glock 48. So having this allows me to have a training tool that fits directly into my holsters. Got a really nice Dark Star gear inside the waistband and a really nice Tenacore outside the waistband that I'm demonstrating with here today. Do you need one? You know, they're anywhere from like $50 to $100+. These things all cost money. What value do you get with this? And should you just train with your real gun cleared out? Well, here's some things to think about. I do think anybody that trains seriously, that carries a firearm for self-protection, be it for your job or as a legally armed citizen, I think this is a great idea to have. What can you do with this that you can't do with that? What I can do with this is safely train combative scenarios. So you and a buddy can train to get this gun up and out when somebody is tackling you, struggling with you, grappling with you, etc. Only a fool would do that with a real firearm. Caveat to this, there are some companies out there that will have you do that with your real gun. Do not train with people that have you using real firearms in the scenario that I just described, grappling over a gun. Clearing it out doesn't count. It's not good enough. We never point a gun at anything that we're not willing to shoot, kill, or destroy. From a really simple standpoint, I want you to see this. So this is a really nice Glock that I shoot the snot out of. You can see all of that holster wear. See all that holster wear on the pistol? And that's going to happen when you train with the gun. If I am working on my draw stroke, if I'm working on, maybe like today I've got a vest on. So if I'm going to work on doing that, I'm going to beat this up and not my gun. Personally, that doesn't bother me as much as it does some guys. Holster wear freaks some dudes out. To me, it just means you're using the tool for what it's for. The combative thing, I think, is a huge thing. I'm down here in the training room here. This bag is all cut up from me working with blades. I can practice stuff up tight to this bag. I can practice things like muzzle strikes where I'm not going to bash up my actual muzzle. Well, why would you ever need to do that for real? Well, if I am uptight with you and this gun goes off but does not fully reciprocate either because I had to use my own body in close and the slide was not able to reciprocate, or the technique, maybe I was doing a thumb blocking technique to allow that gun to go off because it was pushed out of battery by being driven into the proverbial bad guy, I may need to, gun goes off, strike, make space, tap rack, and continue with my training. I don't want to beat up the crown of my pistol, smashing into a bag or something else. I can do the same thing here. I can get those strikes, mimic my tap rack, and go back to work. A lot of the stuff that we do with pistols, drawing, master grip, 1, 2, 3, punch the gun out, the touch point on the load, the touch point here, and this is not really the nature of this video, is how to draw the gun, but some of those connection points, or the collection point, as my friend Paul Sharp likes to call it. I collect my gun with my support hand. I can practice all that stuff. While I don't want to develop habits where I'm pointing these analog guns at people, that's exactly what they're made for. I can use this in a situation that it would be inappropriate to be using a real firearm. Training with this is just like playing with a squirt gun. And I'm using the word playing because I'm talking about a squirt gun. No bad can come from this by pointing it at a light switch, right? Every day, somebody somewhere accidentally discharges a firearm that they thought was unloaded. That can never happen with this. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, that's for idiots, that's for dummies. This is a fail-safe on top of a fail-safe on top of a fail-safe. So one thing, guys say, well, there's no trigger press. Actually, something that I've played with for years, discussion right now in some circles of friends is the trigger press more important than the grip, or are they equal? And the argument often is, by really good shooters, grip wins all. And the reason that grip wins all is the trigger press, what's allowing the gun to move or not move, is not your ability to press the trigger. It's your fingers tightening and moving as the trigger is pressed that's causing misalignment with the bore. So even without a moving trigger, if I line this gun up, and I'm gonna stare right at you guys, and you watch the muzzle, as I push onto that hunk of plastic, you can watch that muzzle moving. And what's happening is these other fingers on my hand, as they are tightening, it's moving the muzzle. Well, that's a training clue. That tells me as I'm watching this, oh, okay, wow, I am allowing these sights to move and be misaligned because my fingers are tightening. What's my fix to that? And I, as the guy training, can start to become more conscious of my grip, and I can grip firmly. It's not about gripping harder per se, but not allowing the gripping fingers to tighten. I can train that with a hunk of plastic like this, and I can get real results on the target later. Oftentimes when we're training and we're pushing our real gun out and we're breaking the shot, when there's no recoil, we get lazy. I'm like a squirrel looking at a squirrel just run by out the office window here, making sure there wasn't some bad guy showing up. But I can get lazy as I'm just pressing on an empty trigger, and I get that nice trigger press, and I see the sights not move on the target out there. But when the gun is really loaded and I don't have my good grip because I am being lazy, it's not how it's going to work. Yes, you'll get a good shot, but the gun's going to move around in your hand from shot to shot. This actually helps me see that. It helps me see that movement and misalignment. So, do you need a blue gun? I think it's a great addition to give you a very safe way to train where you can still manage the muzzle. You can work on moving around structures, work on moving around your house, work on moving around people in training with something that has zero risk of hurting you. You can make corrections. Hey man, your finger's going where it shouldn't. Hey, that muzzle, you're getting lazy with it. And you've got zero real risk as you are developing skills. You know who uses these in training? The best people in the world. So it's not because you're dumbed down. It's because we want to be able to focus on the things that we're working on and not have to have an unsafe condition exist. Draw stroke, reholstering, not pointing a gun at yourself. This is a great way for new shooters and old to hone those skills. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. Blueguns made in the USA. They did not pay for this video. I pay full price for these things. I support them because they're a long-standing made in the USA company. Check them out, Blueguns. I believe it's blueguns.com. They're out of Florida, like I said. Think about what you're doing. Think about what you want out of your training. That's what you got to input. Be well. Don't be dickheads. Tell somebody you love them. Bye now. I need more magazines.